Our speaker is Elizabeth Quintanilla. She is a fractional CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer, a consultant, a speaker, and a coach. She's going to be talking about tips and tricks of using growth hacking to find your next dream role. Elizabeth is a positive, creative, people-oriented, performance-driven marketing gunslinger. As a respected consultant and speaker, she is focused on helping business owners understand customers' perspective, demand generation, and go-to-market strategies for both traditional and online marketing. She also provides solutions around product marketing and content marketing. She is gifted with the ability to teach complex concepts in understandable terms and to deliver high-quality, creative solutions to ensure product and customer success. She has promised that we are going to be able to not only hear her presentation, see her presentation, but see her in real time putting together her presentation. We get to see the back of the house process as well. If you have questions, please either put your virtual hand up or unmute and ask your question, or put it in the chat. She doesn't make you wait till the end of the presentation. So I'm going to be monitoring the chat. If you have a question, you can put it in there and I'll draw your attention to it. But let's get started. Elizabeth Quintanilla.
Myself. Okay.
We can hear you, we can see you.
Yay. So right now I am pulling up my presentation and it's making me sign in to verify that it's myself. So that's why I'm sharing my screen here in a sec after I type in my password. Okay, I am now back in and I will be sharing my screen. And I will be hopping between a presentation, a Prezi, and real-time showing you things real time as well, like different ways of setting up things. First off, there is no wrong way to growth hack. The real trick on this is just making sure you're doing continuous activities in growth hacking. So just to give you a little bit brief overview, what we're going to be doing here in the slideshow. Slideshow is some tactical and also upper level both ways. So you guys can see, okay, here's the methodology, but here's a way to do it. And so at any time, please interrupt me. And also, there was a lot of use of AI to create presentations, and I was also going to show you how to use AI also to create these quick presentations, because part of your job search is actually positioning yourself to be a leader in what you know. So here's a brief agenda just to kind of go over what we're going over. Is an introduction, what is growth hacking? So just raise your hand if you've ever heard this term before, or if you just basically signed into today's presentation just because of the using a funny keyword. All right, I guess nobody's heard of the term growth hacking. Thank you for letting me know you're driving so you can't interact. Okay. It's all good. So here we are. You've always heard of a lot of presentations about building your personal brand. It's actually essential in growth hacking for this. So basically, the growth hacker is not a replacement for a marketer, because there's always going to be marketing, but it's actually a subset of marketing tactics. So my specialty actually is, in a weird way, a subset of content analytics, SEO, and figuring out how to be obsessive about getting either attention, clicks, conversions. And so what we're going to define here, as opposed to revenue, how you might want to have a goal of How many meetings do you have as one primary goal? How many first interviews do you have? If you know you're going to have, for example, I submit 100 job applications, I get 10 first interviews, which lead to 5 second interviews, but I'm still job hunting. I got to up my number of applications that I do per week. So this is where you start to keep track of things. So originally, it's very creative, and I'm getting very distracted by watching all of y'all, but I'm just going to move you guys over here to the left. So in the startup world, basically there is no money, and so people are using their savings to create a product, and they have to be quickly show a proof of value, which is either first customers and then getting some revenue, and then that's how they grow. But it's understanding the consumer behavior, but you can apply this also to your job search. So if you're not continuously improving, are you falling behind? Are you figuring out how to tailor your presentation of your resume for the different job titles? So, for example, if I'm going into a media company, I will tailor my background, which includes aerospace engineering, very differently than if I was going in and applying to Lockheed or Boeing. But because of my sailing hobby, if there was an opening at the Port of Mobile for public relations, I'm going to emphasize all of my sailing, and I can tailor everything that I have. And so essentially, sometimes Madonna had it right. It's better to be known than unknown. I was hoping that got you some giggles. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the very simplest way of explaining marketing is people have got to know you, and then they got to like working with you. Then they're going to maybe try you out before you get the final gig. So one of the things is I'm obviously a fractional CMO. The other way of thinking about this is it means that I'm always hunting for a gig because I'm a contractor. At the end of the day, I differentiate myself instead of saying, oh, you're a marketing contractor, 1099. Whoop-dee-doo. No, it sounds so much sexier to say fractional CMO. And in today's world right now, but when I created my company 15 years ago, marketing gunslinger was way cooler because of like, hey, wild, wild west. I come from Central Texas. I can definitely help you out. Da, 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 da. Nobody else calls them it. How many women will like to call themselves a gunslinger? There's not a whole lot of women. So it stands out. These few little nuances is the creativity. But I can tell you, I did not start off as marketing gunslinger. I actually started off as business detective. I was there to find you leads. People didn't understand what it was. And so over time, I came up with the word marketing gunslinger. However, I realized there was people, like we all know people that have less skills than we do that got the job that we're qualified for, right? Just shake your head. Yeah. So I had to add the traditional term, fractional CMO, because whether it's a company of 5 or a company of 500 or a Fortune 100 company, there is a chief marketing officer, and people have ideas of what that is. But when you're working with a startup environment of less than 10 people, guess what? Your CMO is your marketing department. That plus Chat GPT. Because most of the time in a startup, the first 8 people are engineers, and they don't know how to talk to customers for the most part. So, growth hacking specifically for your job search. Obviously, we can apply the tactics of how we take a startup concept to revenue to getting you to think about how to apply these concepts to finding your gig. Number one, nobody likes a whiner. How many of us have a wah wah story, right? We all have a sad story. Now, you can let it break you, or you can let it fuel you into accomplishment and giving it to you. So, number one thing that I talk to recruiters. I actually built a recruiter website rather recently for one, and she's always hunting for her gig. But she told me, it's like, I love working with you because you're always so funny and positive on Facebook. I'm not always that funny or positive. Oh, it's only the memes that she sees. I have learned how to clean up my Facebook. So, you know, how shall I say, if you find me there, I'm being intentional about being useful, helpful, of service, and trying to get you to laugh at the same time. Because that's what people remember. And if you're like, okay, if I see you all the time, if I had an ugly house, who am I going to buy from? That billboard caveman guy, right? Because you see him all the time. Okay, I got into an accident. Who am I going to call? Okay, I'm going to call that billboard guy with the lawyer and dreadlocks because you see him. So think about like all the things that you see. Okay, at least City of Austin does quite a bit of advertising. We now have 911 and 311, and we both know those numbers. And luckily, right now, I'm glad I'm in Austin. As much as I complain about Austin Energy and the storms, I'm so glad I'm not in Houston. So, but at least there we can be of service, and people will remember that, if you went to my Facebook profile, my Houstonian friends saw that I posted something and then it's useful. And so maybe they'll go into download the Whataburger app. Literally, this is one of the things that I posted because you can tell which Whataburgers were open or closed. And so you know what neighborhoods had power and not had power because it's a dreaded day when you can't get your patty melts. Okay. So no matter what's going on, my friends in Houston are still working, which is, I think, phenomenal because they just found a way to go to a place that had Wi-Fi and electricity. Luckily, they're getting it back home now too. Oh my God, there's way too many things to do here. But in the typical choosing of where to be, who do you need to be? Where do you want to be? Honestly, the people who know you the best or have the most interactions with you should be referring you into their gigs. So how many of us worked in past companies where we got an employee employee bonus for bringing in a new hire? Some companies do this. So you got to find, if you know what company you're working for, you can go find somebody at that company and see if they'll help you with that gig. Because you know who's the hiring person. But if I'm going to go work at Experian, yes, I know, kind of a crazy thing, but they actually had a contract role, so I applied to that contract role for Experian. And not only going to be talking to the recruiter, but I'm going to find 3 or 4 other people on LinkedIn who work for Experian who can talk to me about the company. So, and when I talk about social referral or email referral, the social referral is Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you feel most comfortable reaching out to that person. So you can, if you have their email, great. So a lot of this we're not going to worry about, but I wanted to just kind of show the ecosystem of where a growth hacker is thinking about. And when we're talking later on, we're going to be thinking about this ecosystem in your LinkedIn profiles. So let me save this and I can go on with funny stories. So replace customer with employer. So when you read the commandments, is like, you got to know what your employer wants. They're getting 150 resumes a day. Let's just pretend this, like, how do you stand out? You need to know where the employer is in their hiring cycle. I can't tell you how many times, it's like, oh, that's okay. But if you know how the customer is there, and if you were working for maybe a vendor or a supplier, they can provide an introduction. So the big three things that we're really going to talk about in this presentation. Oh, let me just briefly look into the chat here.
It's okay. There's nothing going on. That's a question.
Okay, got it. I actually do live in Austin. I have a sailboat in Houston.
Oh,
And no, it's okay because I go sailing all the time and I have too many Austin allergies. So I go hide in Houston to get away from the allergies. And
is your boat okay?
yes, I am very surprised. And I've actually let my friends know that they can, my marina has water and power, so they can go to the coin operated laundry. Just saying, it's something that's a real thing. But yes, incredible
We're
visibility.
very glad you're here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I'm here too. Yeah. So you don't even think about necessarily search engine optimization for LinkedIn, but really and truly, it does show up in search. How many of us have actually Googled our names plus our city? You want your LinkedIn profile to show up. Now, I choose to blog on Medium, but guess what? Your LinkedIn blogs will also show up if it's relevant. So this is what we're talking about, social media optimization. We can do some things here on my profile here and how to make yourself more visible. So I'm going to actually show you, it's not that I'm going to recommend this tool because everything that I recommend, there's always another competitor. It's just for the sake of the demos later. I'm just choosing one tool, but there's different sneaky little ways that are relatively inexpensive, because how many of us can spend $10 a month to save us 40 hours a month of LinkedIn? Yeah, I think you make more money door dashing than necessarily clicking all the buttons. So we'll use the AI tools for some of this stuff. Okay. And so using the data driven, some of these AI tools have dashboards as well. And so you can see who's have a different perspective outside of your LinkedIn profile. But on LinkedIn, it gives you how many people have viewed your profile. How many of us are right now? I'm on the free profile, but I'm going to upgrade to the business profile so you can see the difference in the analytics. But are you checking your LinkedIn analytics? Just raise your hands.
We do have a question that says LinkedIn blogs. Please tell us more.
LinkedIn has a blogging platform in there. So inside LinkedIn, we'll just go here.
Is it available to everybody or just people that subscribe?
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay.
Everybody can do it. So if I go here, let's go back in. I got to because I got that little gray bar. So I have to go like here. We got this. I choose to do it more on Medium, but that's just for different reasons. You can always look at it. We're going to go open a new home. I'm expecting Chris Brogan to, okay, make sure, I just spent about 5 minutes, 5 minutes looking at different things, going, yay, that looks like a good smile. Sometimes I'm not really looking, but at least those people, hopefully, um, we'll see what we'll see what, see the post or see the analytics and say, oh, that liked it. Oh, that makes me feel good. I haven't reached out to that person. Okay, maybe I should go send him a quick message. That was a really insightful post. So I've known Chris for a long, long time, actually. Some of his blogs are better than others. So here he is, his newsletter.
Hmm.
He's also there. So let's go look at his posts really quick. He's actually a vlogger. He has a very lengthy YouTube video channel, of which all of his blogs, what you see here is this show. Because he's using a third-party tool, it gets broadcasted to YouTube, Facebook, and also LinkedIn. So I'll save it later. So here he is on Reddit, is there. This is the posts. There he's there. Da, 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 da. Okay. He named his blog newsletter. Everybody can have something. So I'll hit save and I hit like. And here you go. If I guarantee you, if I look at my, do I want to look at network or notification? Yeah, network. Slow. Do we get an invitations? See all three. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go.
Two of those three are people that are in this meeting right now.
Oh, nice. I'll accept you guys now. So yeah, I was supposed to create an offer. So my offer is, anybody who reaches out and sends me a message, we'll have a 15-minute virtual coffee and we can talk about whatever you feel like that'll help you, tweak this 15 to 30 minutes. So, but yeah, so here we are. Let's go open this in a new tab. I'll go ahead and hit accept. I can always unsubscribe later. So the difference between inside these newsletters, I'll also get these newsletter announcements inside my email. So it's one sneaky way of blogging on the platform. It comes from LinkedIn as the email. I may open it up and then I get to see your insights.
And if somebody wants to start a blog on the LinkedIn platform, where do they go to do that?
Write article. So now I can write article as different pages. Let's go. You guys are not necessarily managing the pages. Here we go.
Okay.
It's a new post. It'll show up. We can manage it. And then I can hit manage, draft, schedule, publish. I can create a newsletter. How often do I want to publish? I'm not going to publish daily. I'm sorry, I can't commit to that. Maybe I can do 2 of these a month. Then I'll call this cranial noodle musings with Vixen. Okay, with Sassy. Cranial noodle.
With sass. That's cool.
Yeah, cranial noodle. Cranial noodle news with Sassy. I think SaaS is one word, two S's. Yeah.
Yes,
So
S2S.
yeah. So here we go. And I can upload this and I can do this and I can create something here. So I'll leave this open for later. Where are we? So yeah. So the targeted here is like looking at roles in, that match your skills and interest. So LinkedIn makes it super easy. Scroll down, scroll down. You're seeing my whole screen. Okay, that's a post. You guys can look up anything. And so it's like, hey, let's just see who is growth hackers in the United States because we don't want them to hire somebody from Bangladesh. And honestly, I'm only going to work remote. I don't care if it's full-time, 1099, whatever. I just want to look at the remote because part of why I do the easy applies is I hate to say it, but let's just go ahead and show you my numbers. So, let me go back to here. Let's see who's the latest. One of the easiest ways to get visibility from people that you might be interested in, obviously, is the hiring managers and the recruiters, but sometimes the people who are there, and there are a lot of contract roles, by the way, on LinkedIn, is, you just want to get new eyeballs to reach out and touch somebody. And so they start looking at the analytics of my posts. So now I'm not going to be able to attend every single relevant marketing organization. So you can see over the course of the time, it doesn't take me long to find my next gig if I have almost 10,000 connections. So the easy apply button, reaching out and connecting to the hiring managers. It's not that I'm inauthentic to apply for these roles. These roles that I apply for mostly are contract, and some of them are part-time contract that they list here. Or sometimes, it's like, oh, okay, that actually sounds interesting. I never shut down my company. And in the past 15 years, there's been 2 or 3 times I've taken full-time roles, but I always kept part of my company alive, mostly because there's some benefits to being a business owner. You get to write off your cell phone.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a question that says, do recruiters have time to read blogs? Do job hunters have time to write them?
It's basically there just to showcase what you know. And so your visibility, because even if the recruiters are going to read the headlines, it's going to be the hiring manager to see what they think of you on, do you know SQL, or do you know, are you really following a PMP methodology, or are you an expert in legal services? Whatever it is, the hiring manager is just are you applying through the easy button, or are you actually qualified for this gig? I don't know what this gig actually entails, but I have the keywords. But your hiring manager will probably go into deeper depth. And more importantly, when you throw out that content, maybe you'll get invited to speak at a place like Product Camp. I actually won Best Presenter Award past year in Product Camp. And you got to be able to showcase what is your skill set. And so here, by presenting, part of what I get to share later is like, hey, this was a great opportunity. I did this for the job club, but I'm qualified as a speaker to talk about growth hacking. And so people will see that too. And they go, oh, great keyword. I didn't realize she was a growth hacker. So
We've
some
got a
people,
few comments where somebody said, I think the hurdle I have is actually finding and determining who the hiring manager is. Another comment was, I've always been advised not to quick apply on any platform, but to go straight to the website and apply there. And then in answer to the hiring manager comment, somebody said you do search on LinkedIn for hiring manager. Is that actually possible to just ask for hiring manager and LinkedIn will tell you who that is?
I go in and I see who is my network connection. So let's go into like my messaging. Let's see who it is. Here's this one. I don't mind showing. I'll let him know. So here's my network connection, and I'll let him know that um
And so you were a first degree connection with Brian?
mhm. And I'll let him know which one I'm applied for. He's going to figure it out on the back end, and then he'll say something good word. Because
Yeah,
again, it's the referral that gets in. Whether
right.
he makes money or not, you know, that's irrelevant. It's more like he's already the insider who can vouch for me. So, okay.
Okay.
Did I answer sufficiently that question? Oh yeah. Oh, and definitely hiring managers, if they accept you, they can lead to more connections. And hiring managers, or sorry, recruiters change companies all the time. Sometimes they're independent, and then sometimes they're working for a startup as the full-time recruiter. And now you're just expanding your network. So my goal was the numbers game. So okay, anything else?
I don't see it yet. I think the hurdle I have is
Okay.
founding
Yeah.
companies. Yeah. Yep. It all looks good so far.
Okay. So if there's also, you can guys raise your hands, and periodically, Kathy is also looking. So if there's something in the chat that we miss, raise your hand. So, uh,
Elizabeth, are you in any groups?
oh yeah.
Okay, can you show us I mean, I know how to do it, but can you show us if you go to a group, how you can message somebody in that group without having to be a first level connection to them?
So let's go into my groups. Ugh, that's not what I wanted. So I
I
just
can't
want,
remember if you're in Launchpad or not in our group.
I think I am.
The way I get into groups is to go into that little waffle that's to the right of your profile. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is it shows you all the groups that you're in.
I also just threw ours in the chat if you want to click on it, but you can go to whatever group you want.
Let's highlight your group, because I should probably join your group. I think I'm a member of it on Facebook, not here. Join.
I'll let you in if I have to. If it usually most people can just join without having to be approved. but I will for those that do.
Okay. Let's see. This guy, let's see his contact info. This is a good point. Does he include his email? Well, thank you for telling me your birthday, but it'd be also awesome if you included an email to contact you, because if I end up finding you on LinkedIn, it would be really easy to hit the button and then that's your email and send you a quick note.
But you don't usually get that with second levels. So
It's
if
up
you're
to
in,
them. They can leave it open or closed.
okay.
That's a setting on their profile. But if your
So if
job,
you're in are you in a group right now?
no,
Or okay,
I just clicked on his.
yeah.
So
Gerard is a super poster. He shares jobs all the time in our group. And he's
yeah.
in Lauderdale. There you go. So if you go in the upper right-hand corner where it says all those connections show all, invite, yeah, there you go. There you go. So this will take you to a page where you can message anybody in the same group you're in. Doesn't matter if it's Launchpad, can be any group you join. And this way you can say, hey, we're in the same group and I noticed that, there's an opening at such and such company. Just was curious if, if you had 15 minutes, I could do an informational interview with you.
Exactly. And I would also send him a message saying, I also send you a connection request.
Yes, nice.
Mhm. So, all right, going back. Okay.
By the way, while you get back to where you're going, there's an interesting comment on the chat that says one possible way to find a likely hiring manager is to search on next level up people in LinkedIn. I did this yesterday, searching for head of, VP, director of type of role. I found a VP of engineering XYZ department who was obviously the hiring manager because other than the level, the titles matched. And then I pursued connections to this person. I teach LinkedIn and I've never seen that next level up people. I think that's a really interesting little hacking
Yeah.
suggestion.
So basically go in there. It's, we got right now, if you're doing the active job search for a full-time W-2 role, you got more time than money. Spend it here, start keeping track, grow the network, and start highlighting what you know. It's sometimes that simple. Okay. So obviously we were talking about the data-driven network with the LinkedIn groups, the forums, and where they're active. The next couple of things is you can have multiple versions of your cover letter and resume on hand. And then you can start tracking that way. So if you're doing 100 applications and it's both for an engineering role, there's two different ways and saying which one is it. The one pager does better than the two pager, or does a view one that highlights the projects versus chronological, what you've done, get you more interviews. And so then you can start to tweak it more on that case. So just for the sake of the slideshow, bigger text. So that's what we were talking about, the A/B testing. Start keeping track of a resume 2024-A-B, dash, figure out which ones are working for you. So essentially, it's just thinking of how do you create experiments, and then you just execute them, you repeat and you tweak, and then you do it again and again and again in a loop. So you can also do video resumes because you can upload, like you saw on Chris Brogan's, small videos highlighting what you do. How many of us have seen yet another 15-year-old vlogger on YouTube? I am terrible with makeup. I have no makeup on. I need to go ask for help on YouTube from a 15-year-old. So, but more importantly, it showcases what they know. If you're a 15-year-old, it's their online resume because they're trying to become an influencer. But what do we know? Okay, I can enter and show what do I know about AI tools, or here is a creative application of AI to showcase my skills. So LinkedIn isn't the only job application platform. There's also JobBot. And I can also look at different other networking events because maybe I'm better suited for a role that's, since I don't mind being virtual, maybe I need to go go to the American Marketing Association virtual events and then see they are talking and what's important to them, and then tweak my resume saying, hey, here it is. So it's always about the continuous improvement. Now, I don't know about you, but there's way too many advice on uh, marketing on Instagram and on YouTube right now. I'm actually in the process of rebuilding my personal website. So I'm switching from WordPress actually over to Wix. And that's just mostly because it'll be actually easier on me to maintain. Because I'm working on 4 or 5 different websites at the same time, including Shopify and that. So, but online communities, have you guys considered Reddit? Have you considered reaching out to groups on Quora? Those are both also very active social networks. Because we all know everybody who's on Reddit is very vocal. But they also share jobs. So there's a lot of other people, like one of the YouTube channels I love following recently is, if you follow me, I actually came out with I published a book on Amazon, self-published. It's a simple little book. It's a coloring book for kids, but I did it based on a YouTube channel. And so with that, I'm able to highlight my creative use of AI in addition to, because AI can do everything now. So here, as an example, where is the escape button? No. I am going to switch tabs here. It's thinking. Prezi.com can build you a whole, with one word prompt. Literally, I just gave it this much. It created this whole presentation. Now, is it good? No. But does it get the job done? So you can take a little loom and a screen capture and talk about what your expertise are? Sure, it looks pretty impressive for the people who are not going to be really paying attention. So they give you the option, record as a video, so we can go in and talk. So let's go ahead and I'll just do this in a new tab. This is part of the fun where I was having. Yeah, no. And this is just one of many tells. I actually have a built-in one to my Google Slides, but I just wanted to say, if you are ever feeling like I can't highlight, I don't know how to think through everything that I want, You can type in just a concept. We'll see if it's any good. We'll see what it generates because this is a little bit specific. It's thinking through things. It's creating its content. Do, 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 do. Yeah, okay. We'll do tech evolution. We'll do that. And I feel like watching Orange today. So never feel like you have writer's block, especially in today's day and age. Sometimes just putting a little bit out there. And if you don't want to put your face out there all the time, just like as a talking head video, because maybe you're self-conscious or something, consider a tool like Prezi.com to take just a little snippet of what you're having and then just do a little brief 3 to 5 minute recording. There's another tool that can take your 3 to 5 minute recording of what you're saying on the slides and have that be a transcript. And there you go. You have your little blog post, plus you have a YouTube video and a TikTok and an Instagram and a Facebook and a LinkedIn video all at the same time for the same topic. So let's go ahead and start editing. So it looks really fancy. So let's see what Prezi thinks about Reddit as a job search. Have you guys ever talked about Reddit for job search in Launchpad?
No.
Okay. So I have found contract roles on Reddit, so I can actually vouch for it. Let's remove the watermark because obviously I'm a subscriber. So we'll see what it does. I haven't seen these slides before, but okay, let's hit start. So strategies. Here is a filtering for jobs and utilizing the features. You have keywords and locations. Essentially, there's job posts just like that. And they have a direct application. We have to verify. Remember, this was created by AI, so trust but verify. And that's usually generic things that we should all be doing. So, okay, do's and don'ts. That's usually a good thing to do, whatever your topic area is. Don't be a spammer. They have a point system. You do not want to be a negative point. You don't want your Reddit account to be in the negative. They will block you and they do get snarky. People tend to be polite on LinkedIn and snarky on Reddit. You have a profile and find the Reddits and find the trends. And so if you're continuously educating yourself in marketing, which is ever changing because there is a new AI tool daily for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And so I have to spend at least 2 hours a week figuring out what is the AI tool I can actually use, just because some people are getting programming jobs because of creating a new AI tool for marketing. I'm very satisfied. It's okay. So
There are some comments. Is this a time when you're
yeah,
open to that?
yeah.
Okay, so one person says the software engineers The complaint that they hear is that developers don't want to use AIs to pair the program with Copilot. So backing up what you're saying, it's a job expectation to be able to use AI. There's another one, a question. Are you using the free version of Prezi? If you actually have copy, colors, and imagery of your own, are you able to put that in and
Yeah.
let it do the design? Do you know
Yes.
that?
Yes, you can. You can,
Okay.
you should be able to do that. Plus, if you're uploading the copy, it'll only filter it better to be more relevant. So the only reason why I'm recommending Prezi was just so that people who can't think about creating a YouTube video, now it's a way of creating a quick YouTube video to make you look like an expert. So
This person says, I may have missed this. Where are your postings, your sharing of this presentation or a blog or whatever? Where where are you posting this kind of presentation content? Is it in the same spot that you would post an article on LinkedIn?
I don't actually leverage the LinkedIn articles quite as much. I'm trying to be more on Medium lately. So to be honest, I'll wait for the recording, hand the recording, figuring out what spots I want to clip out, and I'll probably end up doing a sequence on Medium. So one of the things I wanted to highlight, got to go back to the right browser. I think it's in Firefox.
But when
Yeah.
you were talking before about how LinkedIn has a blogging platform,
Yes.
you initially went into that and you said write an article. And
Yes.
then that's where your blog would show up. And so I think in answer to that person's question, it would show up in the same place that you posted an article. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then there's a talking about the best LLMs. This person, Chris, said she just finished a 1.5 year contract working on one of the top 5 AI platforms. Keep an eye on the white papers. Model tuning is constant and competition will evolve.
Yes. Because, and I can create my own LLM now. They're actually creating it, making it a way where I don't have to be a software developer. I can just now create it. It's gotten to the point where the tools are where I can take an LLM, adapt it, and create it myself.
Wow.
And yeah. And so now you can create your own private little LLM. So if I wanted to make sure I have a completely G-rated, kid-friendly, closed LLM, I can take a subset and create my own. So, but
And that do you start with whatever Gemini or ChatGPT or something like that, and then one of the standard ones, and then you are able to go in and create your own off one of those?
I believe so. I mean, the person who's working in this industry would be better, but yeah, I'm just using different ones and I'm just following tutorials on YouTube, to be honest. I don't really know how to do it really well yet. I'm getting access to just tools.
Okay, all right. And Chris has identified herself as that subject matter expert, so she's a brand new member today. This person says, what if you want to give a presentation on how data visualization helped with improving XYZ with screen captures for a previous company? That's very specific.
Yeah, well, I was going to say do a general data visualization, and I'm not if you can use the screen captures and you're not sharing company information, but maybe you can create a cartoonish version of the dashboard. You can adapt it slowly. So you can go into Canva and do this. I was going to show something on Medium because for people who are unfamiliar with Medium, I got to go. Okay. Oh, well, here is a zoom, octopus. I think it's here. Yeah, there we go. Literally. And I should put this in the chat. That way everybody can read this later. But in Medium, they have also different publications, and then you can write. And inside this publication, here's coding tutorials and news. And for those who are familiar with GitHub and all of those other things, you can follow up there. But this page has 110 followers. Do you think they're all coders, or do you think there'll be some hiring managers and recruiters looking at what people are writing?
Huh.
Sorry, you just want to be, and I'm just trying to be visible enough to always be able to generate an income while working from home. I know it's such a, but that's my goal.
Yeah.
And so how do I hack my way to always being visible enough? And so these are some of the hacks. And here he shares his software resume. Checked. That reminds me. For those interested in the article, it's there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Seconding you again, Chris, our other AI expert, said that she got one certified on Google's Vertex AI. So that's another LLM that I hadn't heard of before. So she apparently created her own as well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out how to get people to learn their ABCs in funny ways. Sorry, I have to, it's like if I make it easy enough for a kid, then maybe I can understand it. That's all I'm saying. If you need the speaker for, obviously, I think she's going to be a future speaker of yours. How to create an LLM and get a job. So yeah, and so here, and it's like, yeah, this is what it is, and then dude, blah, yes, snarky, okay, but nobody. And remember, I love this line in this article. The experience, no one starts off having experience. You have to have a clean cut resume. So obviously for a developer, this is perfect. We do not care how you look like. If you happen to be in marketing, I have to have a halfway decent headshot. Yes, I need to re-dye my hair and be, but sometimes I let it go. But in Canva, if you're confused and want to know, get some inspiration, here is some templates, and you can edit this very similar to like what you do in Word and have a standout simple resume. Personally, I like the Olivia one better, but that's just because I'm kind of like, I have IBM in my background. You never go wrong by buying blue. Blue just seems to be a good power color for resumes for me. Like this one stands out a little bit more. Plus it has a little bit of a gradient. Yes, it's pro, but you can always find something else. So if you want the black and white corporate, this is more than one page, but it shows you and highlights how. So going back to the presentation, because obviously I'm not going through my presentation in an hour. I'm sorry. So stand out. Okay. Portfolio techniques. Take advantage of the LinkedIn portfolio setting. So your portfolio setting is your featured. Please do not leave this section blank. Put something in there. Obviously, include a picture. For those interested in my AI book, please buy my book on Amazon and give me a review. That'll allow me to make more kids' books. I'm working on actually a math workbook next. But sometimes it's simple. So I published it on my birthday. So I was just letting people know I'm now an author. You can follow me. It got 608 impressions. You obviously can see the analytics on any post. So, woohoo! you know, who's viewed my profile since this post? Okay. And my posts, this is how, remember, I have almost 10,000 people that I'm connected to. My posts now reach about 10% weekly of my network. That's kind of my goal. I hate to say it, but I take Madonna's approach. Always be out there. Always, always be visible. You don't have to be notorious. You can just be visible. But also, as requested by people, some people say, oh, you need to have an actual portfolio, not just your featured. Well, then fine. Make an actual portfolio, put it as a PDF, upload a document. Put it in your featured. Oh, people want a writing sample. Thank you. You want a writing sample on what? Can you give me a topic? Okay, fine. I'm going to be funny. I am going to figure a way to combine a very heady PhD professor on leadership and personal development with Grammy award-winning country singers, Brothers Osborne. There you go. I'm just being a little snarky. Sorry that my personality is coming out. And you can see, let's go take a look. This one didn't get as many views in the analytics. But the question is, I know some of these people. And that, is like, again, go interact with people that maybe have bigger audiences than you do. Obviously, Chris Brogan is a New York Times bestselling author. I watch his show. I read his posts. He feels comfortable tagging if it's relevant. So I'm not putting him at the top of but if I think it's relevant to him, I'll get him there. So, and we can click on the link. So basically what was my most insightful thing that I got out of one country song is you can always make somebody's day better and help lift somebody else by uncovering their hidden potential. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with out of Prezi or short form content. Connect with me on LinkedIn and tag me in a comment saying, hey, and also don't be afraid to reach out to your connections and saying, hey, I wrote this post. Send it to them. Can I get a like, please? Oh, sure. Like, done. Comment. And then that'll feed the algorithm to come up. Obviously, I still attend events. So recently there was South by Southwest. I try to make it to at least one live person networking event, whether it's in Austin or Houston, depending on allergy season and where do I want to have work, because the type of work is different actually in both cities. So more startup-y here, more established service businesses there. But wherever I am, okay, is it going to be a Longhorn email because I'm in Austin? Or is like, you're going to say, I am so glad that, H-Town is having this going on. But whatever you do, especially if somebody does a favor, follow up. Thank you, Chris, for writing such an insightful article and agreeing to be part of my examples today.
You also got a good comment from Brad. He says, when you said you were going to go over, he said, if I've learned anything in my years of running training, the sign of a good training is that you aren't able to get through it all, because that means the audience was engaged, which was certainly the case here.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to go through these next series of slides really quickly because, obviously some of them will be relevant or other. Basically, this was something that I mentioned very early in the presentation, but you apply, you secure an interview, you figure out the response, and it's like if you get 3 job offers and you need 50, then that's telling me if I want to have more, I need to have at least how many applications that I need to send out. So I wish I put 60 there. So that would have been 20 applications to get the first job offer. So know your numbers. Growth hackers are all about the numbers. We might be goofy and zany, and I am definitely an animaniac. I don't know if anybody watches cartoons, but I do love that cartoon. But
He says, what would be the time period for 50 apps sent?
Well, you would do the tracking. So with the easy apply button, that's probably closer to like 500, whatever it is. But if it's 500 to secure 10 interviews, how long does it take you to put 500 easy button applications in? If you're putting in real applications because you guys are looking for W-2 roles, from day one, every day you're doing 2 applications because there's roughly 30 days in a month. And if you want your weekends, remember to do your homework through the week. So that means 3. So there's 5 days in a week, work week. You need to make sure that you're doing, at least 2 to 3 a day. Because some of those applications there. Okay.
Yeah, and having the data is a good motivator, knowing that you have to reach that quota every day, that you've got to do the work to do it. So
yeah, because otherwise, if you don't put in 2 applications a day, how do you expect to get an interview? Just because, there's at least 100 people applying for this job. You want to stand out, but you're also the rest of the time also fleshing out your referral base, keeping in touch, finding an insider. You're doing, creating your own level of content, whether it's a Medium, a YouTube video, a TikTok, doesn't matter. You're putting yourself out there on enough where people can say, oh yeah, she definitely knows about sales. She's talking about the close. So I love this optimize your headline. This is how I'm marketing gunslinger, fractional CMO. But if you're a marketing specialist, you talk about growth and driving customer acquisition. Obviously, we're very engaged in this. And if you don't know what to write for your summary, use ChatGPT. It's okay. It's very wordy, so I'd ask for 3 different copies and then cut it down, because henceforth is not a commonly used word in LinkedIn. So make sure whatever copy you get out of ChatGPT, edit it, and there. So skills and endorsements, make sure you have them. But one way of showing up is endorsing other people's skills and endorsements. So instead of ET call home, it's a EQ, reach out and touch somebody. Hit that plus button on public speaking. If they're a speaker profile, hit that plus button on SQL, or in this case of, I believe it was Chris, hit that plus button on LLMs. Let's get her her next LLM job, right? Because she's going to find a job for all of us.
There's a question that says, do you think there's an ideal length for a video?
Shorter. Honestly, because we're just going to do one little concept. How many of us are going to watch something longer than 3 minutes? We're all busy.
We had a job club member who did videos for LinkedIn profiles for a while, and theirs were 30 seconds because they said that's all anybody would sit through.
30
very much
seconds.
shorter.
Yeah, I'm just going, or they're engaged as a hiring manager. You may not be able to get it all done in 30 seconds. They'll watch the rest. The majority of people will fall off after 30 seconds. I wouldn't waste my time to do anything longer than 3 minutes. And even if I got a copy of this whole video, I'm gonna chop it into 3 to 5 minute segments. And then chop it up for social media, like on TikTok or whatever, to share. Hey, go watch this YouTube on EQ. Talk about more on this 3 minute video from a 30-second video.